Hey everybody, my name is John White. I'm the program coordinator for the Carolina Thread Trail. It is raining today in Charlotte, which is actually a great opportunity to learn about stormwater runoff. A lot of people don't realize that actually everything that falls from the sky ends up in our reservoirs at some point. It either moves through the ground, through groundwater, or it runs over the land as runoff. And when it runs as runoff, it picks up all kinds of stuff that we have in our roads, streets, roofs, lawns, farm fields, and everything. Where our stormwater goes can sometimes seem invisible, but today I'm going to start from the Midwood Park in Plaza Midwood and figure out where this water goes. All kinds of things impact how water moves across or through the ground, such as soil type, how much water it can hold, how porous it is, and then also what kind of vegetation there is to soak up water and to solidify the soils. And you can see it kind of flows this way and spreads out into the soil where it's a little bit more grassy, and then some of it does run off into this creek. From here, the water flows into a culvert, a long dark tunnel underground, and I think it'll be underground for most of the time in the park, but we're gonna follow it and see where it goes. I think it's gonna just follow this low point where we're seeing these manhole covers. I can hear a lot of water flowing into this grate. It's coming straight from this little ditch in the ground, as well as flowing off of the sidewalk. I think this is our biggest waterfall in Midwood Park. So I did some detective work and I found another grate tucked way back in the corner of the park here, where there's definitely a lot of water flowing. And if stormwater is managed properly, it can actually be really great habitat for all kinds of creatures. And you see that on places like the Little Sugar Creek Greenway, where that creek is filtering off all kinds of stormwater, and it has fish, turtles, great blue herons hunting there, all kinds of insects and all kinds of plants. So here's the stream coming out of the back of the park. And again, it flows into another long dark tunnel underneath the road. You can see it continuing down there. So the stream keeps on running into another culvert, crosses this road. And now it's also picking up a lot more water from some of these side streets because it's all flowing down into this low point. And the stream continues again under another street and over there. Ooh, look at those nice meanders. So I believe that this is now the final street crossing in the neighborhood, and you can see it's got a pretty significant flow at this point, and it looks a little bit murky from some of the runoff. So fortunately, a little city park with some paved trails protects some of the riparian ecosystem of Briar Creek as it heads down to Central Avenue. So I'm down here where the little tributary that we first started at has now turned into Briar Creek and runs under Central Avenue. From here it'll go on another few miles down to Tyvola Road where it meets up with Little Sugar Creek Greenway, and then down into the Catawba River, and then the Wateree River, and onto the Atlantic Ocean. Now I'm back at home to see where we went, where the water goes next. So we started up here in Midwood Park, and we followed it through the park, across some of these streets. This was the last spot we saw it in the neighborhood. Then we came down to these trails to see it in the city park, and then this is where it crossed Central Avenue. Briar Creek passes Chantilly Park, the Mint Museum. This is where Briar Creek Greenway is. And then eventually it meets up with the Little Sugar Creek Greenway near Tyvola Road, and this is a really beautiful segment of Greenway. But then Little Sugar Creek keeps on going, and it flows south all the way down into South Carolina, and it meets up with the Catawba River. And then from there, we zoom out further, flows down past Great Falls and into Lake Wateree, where it is now called the Wateree River, and it continues flowing south all the way through some major reservoirs into Charleston and into the Atlantic Ocean.